I didn't know anything about fashion my first season of Fashion Week. I like rode horses in high school and drove like a lifted Jeep. And then I got asked to go to Fashion Week and I was like, should I bring my cowboy boots? My name is Emily Swift and I reside in Connecticut. So I am about an hour and a half outside of New York City. So in non-COVID times, I would go and do a lot of work there, but lately I've been kind of trapped between the four walls of my studio. I mostly specialize in building model portfolios. That's like my main thing that I do. I do primarily fashion, portraiture, things like that. I like to just work with people. I love the dynamic of like, in my studio with somebody else, getting to know them, hearing their story, and then providing them with like these beautiful images that portray what they were going for. So that was like my main clientele pre-COVID. I also did some work for a fashion TV network that I was lucky enough to travel with all the time. And that was so much fun, but Fashion Week hasn't happened since this whole breakout, so that's been on pause. I was actually fortunate enough to have a film program at my local high school. My freshman year of high school was the first time I ever shot film. My grandfather, he gifted me his old Minolta. I actually have it right here. My first camera, my first film camera, and still one of my absolute favorites. I still shoot with it all the time. And so when he found out I was taking this class and I needed a camera, he gave it to me. We did all of the developing, processing, loading, darkroom printing, everything ourselves. So that was about 2010. Yeah, so about 10 years ago now. I started with film and then I got into digital and my mind was blown and I was like, wow, you could do anything. This is so cool. And now I'm like, this is kind of boring. So now I'm like back to square one, back to my roots of like just shooting film for the most part. I have a Hasselblad 500C. It's just got the Planner Zeiss 80mm lens on it. And it's definitely my go-to, either that one or the Minolta. And I'm also a really big fan of the Olympus Stylus Epic point and shoot. I've taken some of my favorite photographs ever with that camera. I actually just took my leap into large format and I was bidding on some Graflexes on eBay and accidentally won 2 bids, which I was not really hoping to do, but I did. So now I have 2 4x5s and I just got my hands on some film and some backs. So I might try to shoot it for the first time maybe this week. When I was in college, I had worked for a photographer who was my mentor for a while. We went up to Lowell, Massachusetts to photograph the behind the scenes of a short film that was being produced up there. And I came back and I was telling my professor all about it. And this was the very first day of classes. And he was like, oh, if you're a photography major, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, if you really like the behind the scenes thing, I know this guy in New York who's always looking for interns for Fashion Week. Why don't I put you in touch with him? And I was like, okay. I got in touch with him and his name is Rocco. And so I sent him a couple of my videos from class, which were really not that good. And I was like, yeah, I have a camera that can shoot video and I kind of know how to edit video. And he was like, great, you can come to Fashion Week. And I was like, what? Okay. So he totally took a chance on me, and I remember that first season and like being in the media pit and looking around. I was a sophomore in college and I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, I barely know what I'm doing. He ended up having an intern cancel on him last minute. So he was like really desperately needing the extra hand. And so it was really just right place, right time. And I ended up continuing to work for him every single season. He kept calling me back. After like my second or third season, I was like, okay, like I got this now. And I did end up going on to work for the network, and yeah, it's been really incredible. I'm so happy that I decided to study video as well, because my professors would always say, like, nowadays you need to be well versed in a little bit of everything if you want to do this full time, because you're more likely to land a job when you can fit X, Y, and Z instead of just X and Y. And video was the Z for me. Once I graduated and I got my passport, I ended up getting the chance to actually do the whole European circuit. So we went from New York Fashion Week straight to Milan, Italy, straight to Paris. Yeah, I got the chance to go to Morocco twice now for work, and I miss those days. I was in Milan in Italy, and I remember going backstage and I'm filming the wardrobe racks, and I see Gigi. And I'm like, wow, this model's got the same name as Gigi Hadid. That's so cool. And then they like break doing hair and makeup so that the models can do the trial walkthrough. And I'm like filming her clothes, and Gigi Hadid walks over and sits down in the chair in front of me. And I like look at her, and like she looks up at me and she smiles, and I like turned around and walked away. I don't really get starstruck. Like, I've interviewed Paris Hilton, I've interviewed like Lance Bass, like Jason Derulo, like a bunch of famous people, but I was like, oh my god, that's Gigi Hadid. Holy crap, I'm in the same place as Gigi Hadid. And we couldn't really do a whole interview in a minute, so we just got a soundbite of her saying like, hi, my name's Gigi Hadid and you're watching Fashion News Live, which is the name of our show. And like, I got to film that and like hand her the microphone, and I was like, wow, I've had Gigi Hadid in front of my camera. Like, this is so cool. When I went to Fashion Week after that first season, I felt like I found my people. And I had no idea they were my people until I was there experiencing it. And it really opened up like this whole world for me. And it's now what I do professionally. So it definitely changed my life. And I definitely did not see it going in this direction. The biggest hang-up that I have being a woman in photography is specifically what I experienced at Fashion Week. People think that I am this little girl who wandered backstage and somehow somebody let me in and I'm not actually supposed to be there. And I'm like, hi, hello, I work for Fashion News Live. I am fully credentialed to be here. So it's like, I wish that people could look at a woman with her camera and take her seriously. Is like really it. I've been outside shooting with my Hasselblad, and this guy comes over to me and he's like, oh wow, I'm surprised you have a Hasselblad. Usually only professionals have those cameras. What I've kind of been trying to do over COVID has been to rediscover the naive photographer's eye, if that makes sense. When I first started shooting film, I barely had any idea what I was doing. And so I would just photograph whatever I found was interesting in front of me. When you don't know what you're doing and you don't know what the rules are yet, you unintentionally break them and you form this really beautiful, naive, just whatever you are attracted to eye, like the naive photographer's eye. But I've been really trying to take a step back, shoot way more film, and try to get back in touch with my naive photographer's eye. Because I do a lot of like high fashion beauty editorial work. So like the girls look perfect, the clothes look perfect, the lighting is perfect, everything is so perfect. I became such like a pixel peeper, you know what I mean? And I was like, I hate this. Like I hate that I'm like so stuck in this like perfect commercial box, and like somebody get me out of here. So I literally went on eBay and I got a really good deal on a film lot that I think it had like 30 something rolls of film, or maybe even more. And I just like bit the bullet and I bought it, and I was like, if anything's gonna get me out of this perfectionist mindset that I've trapped myself into, it's gonna be expired film. And that's exactly what happened, and so I'm really thankful I did that. Don't be afraid to fail is like number one, because I actually do also work for a startup company now, and that's something that my colleagues in the company are always saying. It's like, if you're gonna fail, fail fast and fail hard. The best way to learn how to improve something is to just go out, try it, fail, and then evaluate, okay, why did I fail? You know how many rolls of film I've messed up? Everyone's always saying that, like, oh, I'm afraid to shoot film because, like, what if it doesn't come out, or what if it doesn't work? And I'm like, no, that is 100% going to happen. Buy the camera, buy the film, get the film camera, just get it, just start it, just do it. Like, chase every open door, really. And don't let people try to make you feel inferior because you are a woman. You probably know more than them.
Thank you so much to Emily Swift for your work and cooperation in making this video. I hope to make Women with Film Wednesday a bi-weekly series. If you like this and behind-the-scenes vlogs about film photography, subscribe, turn on notifications, and check out the description for lots of goodness. Thank you.